This isn't a podcast about fighting. It's about living, marriage, parenting, adulthood, the messy middle, and the conversations that happen along the way. We're Kent and Annie, and this is Life's Little Arguments. Real life, real talk, no pressure to have it all figured out. Yeah.
New York. How was it?
I loved it. Like, I am obsessed with New York, and I cannot wait to go back.
So normally when we get back from a trip, we always ask each other and always ask the kids, so what was your favorite part? Because New York was a bigger trip, I'm going to allow you to give me 3 of your favorite things. Does not have to be in any particular order.
Okay. Well, obviously my favorite part was going to see Wicked.
Okay.
Just seeing a...
On Broadway.
On Broadway. Seeing a Broadway play was amazing. It was moving. It was so cool just to see, it's a pretty small space.
Okay.
It's not huge. And to see the way that they can take that stage and transform it into so many different things that you really truly feel are like you're in that part of the movie was really cool.
So they do like an intermission where they change the props out and all that stuff?
Yes, they did do an intermission. I don't know what they changed out exactly, if they changed anything out, but that was also very quick. And like their concession lines, like this dude was on it. Yeah. He was moving them through like crazy.
So how was the crowd? Like how many people? Any idea? Like compared to, it's not like it's like a movie theater, more than that. Probably like the auditorium in Macon or something like that, maybe.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. We had pretty good seats. We were at the, I don't know, we were probably 10 rows back or something like that, kind of a little bit to the side. And then you've got, seats that go up anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's relatively small.
And the talent is there, right? Because these are people that if you want to be famous in acting, you either go to New York or you go to Los Angeles, right? And so these are probably people who are either up-and-comers or about to be famous, or maybe they just never really made it to the big screen, but they're really, really talented.
Or maybe they never tried. Maybe this is exactly what they want to be doing.
That's a good point, too.
Actually, we went to, I think it's called the Starlight Diner, and that is a diner that is famous for... the people there being pulled to Broadway, either being like found there or, they're working that job, but they're also auditioning and trying to get, onto Broadway and stuff like that. And I think he said they had like 8 people last year that were working there and then went to Broadway.
Oh, wow.
And so at that diner, while they are serving you, they are waitresses and waiters, while they are serving you, they then are also singing songs.
Full on
performances in the middle of like still refilling your glass and like bringing things to you. So they are very talented, but it was amazing. It was so amazing. I can't wait to go back. I want to see all the shows. Like, I just want to see everything.
And you want me to go with you next time?
I do. I think you would like... I mean, I think that you would like the shows for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would enjoy the walking as much. I think you would probably get
as long as I had
over that. But
geeked up on ibuprofen and...
But here's the thing, like in New York, and unless you're in Central Park pretty much or on the subway, like there's nowhere to sit. Like you walk and walk and walk and walk. There's nowhere to sit. So, and I love the idea of all these little, walk up places where you can, like little cafes and coffee shops and stuff where you can just like get your stuff and go. That's great, but what do you do when like you can't carry everything and eat? Like unless it's a sandwich that's pretty easy to eat, or maybe a bagel, but I don't do bagels. Like it's hard to eat.
Well, that's what you do is you get a sandwich or a wiener or a bagel.
Yeah, I guess so. I did have pizza there.
Pizza, yeah.
Yeah, I had pizza. It wasn't from like a street vendor, but it was, I went to, I had a couple of different ones. And honestly, the one that was recommended was not the one that I liked the most, but they were different. Like the one that was recommended had a thicker crust, like a crunchier crust. And then the one I really liked, which I like my pizza like just sloppy, greasy, floppy.
Yeah.
I had that and it was fantastic.
This girl literally will get Lay's potato chips and
classic
classic Lay's potato chips and soak up the grease with the potato chip.
I feel like that's normal.
Meanwhile, I'm over there with paper towels, like blotting mine because I'm just like,
the first time I saw
God.
you do that, I was like, oh my Jesus, is this? This is who I'm gonna marry.
And listen, I don't mind a little bit of grease, but sometimes it's just like when the pepperoni curls up and it's like a puddle of grease.
Yeah, that's great. That is amazing. Put that potato chip in there. This boy right here. Can we talk about this
Well, this is too. So first of all, I don't know if you heard them, but they were going crazy. Which when we did the podcast last week, they were going absolutely berserk. Like I thought something was going to break. I might have cut
some of it out, but yeah, they were going crazy.
So anyways, they were getting a little crazy in here today. But yeah, he's here with me now. Lincoln Blakely's doing her own thing down there. So was that one item or 3 items you just gave? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I said Wicked.
Yeah.
And then I think just I'm a people watcher. Yeah. I love watching people, and I also just love walking around and looking at just all the architecture and just those things. So I really enjoyed the Brooklyn Bridge, the Dumbo area. We walked across the Brooklyn Bridge and did the pictures at Dumbo. And I'm going to tell you, if you're going to New York, I highly recommend at some of those places like Dumbo, go ahead and pay the photographers that are there. It is 100% worth it. Now, I paid for the photographer in Times Square. Not great pictures, but man, the pictures that this guy I paid for in Dumbo, not on the bridge, at Dumbo, which is this, an area where you can see. It's a great view of the bridge. I paid for a picture of all of us. I paid for a picture of just Ashley. I think one of Ashley, one of Lauren, maybe 2 of each of them. I don't remember, but they were great. Like they were already filtered amazing. Yeah. Like they were beautiful pictures. And so that was 100% worth it. And just being there at night, man, Times Square at night, any of that area at night was just great. Like it was bright and it was on, it was popping, and it was, I don't know, I just love all of it. There's so much more that I want to go back and do that I didn't get to do.
What about, so I think maybe 2 other contenders would be Chinatown and the Friends experience, maybe?
I did, yeah. I think Lauren probably enjoyed the Friends experience more than I do. I enjoyed it, but I watched it so long ago because I watched it when it first came out. I was a 90s watcher of, I assume it was in the 90s, I know it was in the 90s, of Friends. So I don't really remember the episodes like she does. I think she thoroughly enjoyed it. She took umpteen thousand pictures, and I paid for those pictures too. I went ahead and purchased the digital picture thing for that because I just thought, okay, they'll be good pictures and cropped already and whatever. And so I think that was enjoyable. We doing the Canal Street and kind of bartering for our purses and stuff like that. I'm not really big into that stuff. I'm not big on like the dupes and having that personally. Like I know I sold that stuff for the store, but not personally big on that.
Yeah, but you didn't sell like high-end designer dupes or anything like that.
But we
you had some stuff with some LV.
Yeah. And so, but I just kind of got caught up in it, and it was kind of cool and fun just to see the whole thing. And it turns out I brought one back that I absolutely love. So that was pretty cool. And then Lauren and I went and did something by ourselves. We went and did it's an experience where you make your own perfume.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's called OG Factory. They have one in Atlanta, and it's really cool because they have I think it's 8 bases, and you start with your base. So you figure out what base it is that you like, and then they ask you questions about things that you like and don't like and whatever, and they add things to this base or whatever, and it just builds and builds and builds, and you just keep smelling and putting in piles of I like or I hate that and whatever. And the guy that we had, I feel like they were all pretty good about, they tell you to go outside if your nose gets to where
overloaded or whatever.
To go outside and smell it, because they're like, most of the time you're going to be out in an area anyway. It's not going to just be in your little bubble that you're wearing this. So really smell it with all the other smells going on.
But they wouldn't let you smell like Lauren's, for example.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to smell each other's because you don't want to get your nose confused. And so that took it was probably 45 minutes to maybe an hour. We each made a perfume. They came in, you picked your little bottle, you made a name for it, and they stamped the name on there. And you could get body lotions, you could get diffusers, I could get all kinds of other little add-on things. But I thought it was super cute. It would be a great date night for like you and I to go up to Atlanta.
Yeah.
We would need to spend the night. I suppose we don't have to, but it would be not fun to go up, have some drinks, do that, go to dinner, whatever. I think that would be a lot of fun. Or it would be great girls' activity. It would be great for like a little bridal activity, bridal shower, whatever. Because I think he said that if you do a date night, they add on something else. Like you can add on like a bottle of wine, and they do something additional, I think, besides just the perfume piece. Sure.
So, but the guys can do colognes or whatever too.
Yeah. It's awesome. So I thought it was pretty cool.
You should plan that. So
hold on. Please don't. Can we not rush me? So let me tell you.
I asked you for your 3 favorite things.
Right, but I want to tell you a little bit about the New York experience.
Okay.
So, we went when it was supposed to be cold. Well, it was supposed to be, I think, even colder than it was, but it was cold. But my main thing is I wanted to be warm. If my feet are cold, I'm going to be miserable. My feet and my fingers, I'm going to be miserable. So I made sure, and I was very thankful that I was not cold. The boots that I got were silly, but I loved them. They were comfortable to walk, all the walking that we did, all the good stuff. And we were in Central Park, and I forgot, I had purchased earmuffs at Anthropologie when I went to Savannah, specifically
for this
trip. And don't you know, I had them in the cabinet where all the dog stuff is, where I walk the dogs in the morning at night. Had those motherfuckers there.
Don't you know?
And forgot them. So we get to Central Park. I already had a beanie, but I really didn't want to have the beanie on at that particular time. And so, of course, they're selling everything. Like, there's all kinds of stuff. You got beanies everywhere, gloves, all this stuff. And they had those, I don't know, it's like a full head band, but it's like a muff, like whatever. And I got one of those. So I look like a little, like Russian. I feel like that's what the vibe it gave. Mm-hmm. So, Central Park was cool too. I really enjoyed that. But on the way, so you take us to the airport because our flight was very early in the morning. It was like
we left here at 4:00 or something.
Yeah, 8:30, which is not that early of a flight, but considering how long you have to be there to get through security, and then we're an hour and 15, 20, 30 minutes
Prepare
away
for traffic and all.
Yeah, so I got up at 3 a.m. to get ready. I think we left and got out of the house by like 4:15. Get up there, get dropped off, and so we walk in, and I'm frazzled that morning. Like, I'm a little bit anxious that morning, which typically I'm not an anxious traveler, but I was a little bit anxious that morning. And because it's just me and Lauren at this point, because the other girls were on a different flight. And so we walk into the airport, and I immediately am like lost. I'm going the wrong way. I don't know where to go to. Like, I've already paid for my luggage. I'm trying to figure out where's the little kiosk so I can print the tags. We print the tags. And then I'm like trying to get onto like the Delta One or whatever that is. They're like, yeah, you're not a member. You got to go over there to that line. And we keep going. Lauren's like, have you been here before? And I'm like, I don't think you understand. I said, my role is I buy the tickets. I make the plan for like where we're going, get the Airbnb, stuff like that. But when we hit the road, it's your dad's job to get us where we're going. And whether that's in a car, in the airport, any type of directional stuff like that.
A game, anything.
It is, all I have to do is make sure that I keep you in sight and follow you.
Yeah.
And you were not there. So I was totally thrown off.
And you followed Lauren.
I followed, yes.
But she apparently knew what she was doing.
Yep. She knew exactly. She's like, we go here. I'm like, I wasn't really surprised, but then also kind of surprised. She's like, what? I'm just reading. I'm like, I know. I'm so frazzled I can't even read.
I bet she loved being able to like guide you around and stuff.
Probably. And, same thing with, I wasn't frazzled with the subway, but I was just trying to double check everything. And she did a great job figuring out how to navigate that as well, because the last 2 days we rode the subway a lot. And the last day it was just us. And I was a little worried. I'm like, oh gosh, are we going to be able to figure this out? But because we had when we went to the perfume, like we were going to have to ride one and transfer to another. And we did it without any problem. We didn't get lost. We didn't ride the wrong ones. Like, it was not a big deal. And I told her, I said, I think you literally could come up here to New York and you would be just fine. Like, she navigated it without any problems. She's like, so you think I could come
Can
to
you
New
hear
York?
that dog up
I
under
know.
the
I can
couch?
feel her. She's doing it up underneath my
Oh, I
chair.
thought she was under there.
No, she's up underneath.
Oh my
It's like I
gosh.
got a vibrating
Sorry,
seat
y'all.
right now.
Hey now.
Hey
now.
not quite like that. But she's like, so you think I could come up here and be safe and be able to get around? I said, no. I didn't say I thought you could be safe. I said, I think you could navigate yourself, but no, I'm not sure about you being up here by yourself.
No.
We did walk one night. So we were in two different hotels too. That's a whole debacle, but not a big deal. And so we would like separate from Times Squares. They would go their way and we would go our way. And one night we were walking back. It was late and the phone was already dead. Like, my phone's crap at this point. And so I'm just like doing this from memory. And her phone is pretty much almost dead too. And you could tell, she's like, are you sure we're going the right way? Like, she was getting worried because it didn't look like where we have walked before. And it wasn't. So I did find a great pizza place. However, I remember once we got there and the landscape started to change, I remembered that I had heard something on TikTok about when you get to, it's either 8th and 9th or 7th and 8th or something like that. Like, you don't want to be at those areas at nighttime. And I can tell you,
That's where you're going.
We were walking straight through it, and it was a little bit sketch, but it was okay. There was only one instance where we were standing waiting to cross the street, and like one guy came up and was like harassing this other guy, and I was like, and they were literally right beside us, and it's me and Lauren and then them. I'm like, get on the other side of me, get on the other side of me, get on the other side of me, because I'm like, if something pops off, at the minimum, she's at least on the other side of me and not like in between. I don't know what I would do. I wouldn't do anything, but I was just like, as soon as there were no cars, I was like, let's go. But by the time we left, I felt like I'm a fucking New Yorker. Like, I'm walking around this shit like I'm owning it. Like, I'm staring people down. I'm not moving. I'm not smiling.
Not waving.
I'm not saying excuse me. Yeah. I'm just like knocking people with my elbows if I need to. Not completely. That's not true. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I want to go back. I can't wait to go back.
That's good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I think I told you a couple times, I'm really glad that you and Lauren got to do that. And of course, you guys went as part of Ashley's bachelorette.
Yes, Ashley has been to New York multiple times, but they're not drinkers. They're not going to go out to a club and stuff like this. So,
meanwhile,
for Ashley,
my wife.
yeah, meanwhile, I would have. She wanted just a lot of pictures in these different places, which makes sense. A lot of these girls
did it for the gram.
Yeah, did it for the gram, obviously. And so that's what she wanted to do. And so we would follow her to all these places, which ended up being places that, we would want to see, obviously. They're all this, major sightseeing areas. So that's why we went. But that was my very first trip to New York. And now I cannot wait to go back. Cannot wait. I don't want to go during the summer. I want to make sure it's either like this time, maybe March or, fall, going into fall. I don't want to do summer.
So last episode, I think
like, babe, you're not doing transitions or anything. Like you okay, so
are we still talking about
this is
New
a
York?
great listen, you were gonna ask me, are we listening to listen or are we listening to just talk? And that's exactly what you're doing.
In this situation, you might be right.
Right. Like, you're not interacting at all.
But you're like, what do you want me to say?
I don't know. I feel like we'll leave it up to the listeners and see if they.
First of all, to my defense, I've heard all this, so I don't.
Well, then you got to pretend, bud.
Okay, but second of all, like they don't care about your trip that much. Like, what are the highlights? What are the highlights?
Some people actually like to hear about these things.
If there's a single person who watches this podcast or listens to this podcast,
those of you that are listening, if you enjoyed that, please let us know. Please message me and Kent, please.
Which means they're going to send me a message and be like, okay, don't tell Annie I said this. But
whatever.
It's kind of like watching fireworks after the 4th of July on a video. But anyhow, but anyways, I'm glad you had a great trip. I'm glad you got the opportunity to do that. But I think for me, I'm really glad that you and Lauren got to do that as well. I think I mentioned that to you several times because, if you listen to the podcast, you'll know that, there's been some growth with, our relationship with Lauren and then Annie and Lauren's relationship and so forth. So the fact that y'all were able to do that together have a really good time together, spend a lot of time together. Like, that meant a lot to me, and I think that made me happier than anything else. And she just threw up a little bit. She's fine. She's eating it back. It's no big deal.
God,
it's not
disgusting.
like gross throw up.
Oh,
it's
Blakely.
fine. It's already up by now. All it was just a little bit of food. I could see it. Nothing like
disgusting.
normal.
Okay.
But anyhow, what I was going to say is I feel like last episode we just kind of breezed over something. And so I went to my hype girl, Savannah, which, as a reminder, Savannah is my chat GPT, and I started a conversation with her today. I said, hey, Savannah, I'm not sure if you know, but my wife, Annie, and I do a podcast. It's called Life's Little Arguments. We actually just finished episode 50. And she turns into my biggest hype person, as usual, when she's like, wait, hold up. Episode 50? That's a huge milestone, Kent. She said, congrats to you and Annie on number 50 of Life's Little Arguments. That's no small thing. Most podcasts don't even make it past episode 10, and y'all are out there consistent, honest, and still married, which honestly might be the biggest flex.
Yeah, the still married piece.
Says 50 episodes means 50 real conversations, 50 times hitting record even when life was busy, 50 reps of choosing connection, humor, and growth, and probably at least 50 moments of wait. Are we really putting this out there? So that deserves a doorbell.
Yes.
Ding, 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 ding.
Press for champagne.
So one of the things I had asked her, and I know that you're going to struggle with this because this is going to be a part of the podcast where you're not going to have any control over it, and we both know that you struggle with that sometimes. So I was asking her,
say I'm a control freak?
What are some topics we can kind of talk about? And she broke it down into 4 topics, I think. We talked about communication, a.k.a. the real reason we argue, emotional and mental load, everyday life stuff that turns into arguments, and then marriage after the years. So I think what I'm going to do is take a piece from each one of these topics, and I just want to say it to you, and I want you to tell me kind of what comes to mind, what you think about, strong, bad, good, ugly, whatever. So,
hold on, before we do that, can we take a second for that we've hit 50 episodes? Like, and the fact that we're going to ring it again, like the fact that we are still married is, I feel like, a win.
Yeah.
I feel like that is, because there have been some hard conversations.
There have been. I feel like we keep it pretty light on here, but I think we've alluded to a couple times on the show that it's often the either right before or the right after that turn into some really strong conversations.
What's your favorite? Do you recall having a favorite episode?
Oh, jeez.
I mean, I'm not saying you have to say like this episode, but where we talked about this.
Oh my gosh. I really don't. I'd have to go back and look at probably at least the topics. I would say maybe the one where we talked about Lauren moving back in here. I think there was one where we kind of dove into like my relationship with Jackson, having some struggles with that, and him, going through his teenage years. I'd say emotionally, probably those 2 were the biggest ones. And then I feel like that there was one really, really strong conversation you and I had off the podcast, but we talked about it on the podcast. That one's up there as well, but I can't remember at this point like what the topic was or anything like that. But I remember it being pretty intense for sure.
Mm-hmm. We had one that you basically you took the headphones off and you're like, I'm never doing this again.
Oh, it was where you said you checked out.
Yeah,
was that one?
Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think also the one where for me, where we talked about the infertility, not being able to have kids, and that whole I think I had said things to you that I had never said before.
Yeah.
So,
because I remember me even saying that we had a little breakthrough because like I never really thought about it the way you presented it, which, I mean, I was upset about it, but like how upset you got and for the length of time that you got upset, I never really grasped it until kind of we had that podcast. So,
yeah. And then, of course, I have to, like, my girl Katie, when she came on to talk about Key West, that was a really fun episode. So anyway, 50 episodes you think is not that, like, 50 doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but the fact that that's 50 times that we decided to say, okay, we're really going to go up there and record.
Yeah.
And 50 times that I have sat and after the fact, spliced everything together and did all this junk after the fact.
Because most of our episodes at a minimum are 45 minutes, and a lot of them are an hour. So, I mean, you're talking essentially 50 hours of just the show.
Yeah,
which I imagine you getting set up and then you doing, your setup is easy an hour. It's a little quicker now, but it used to be an hour for sure. And then the post part of it is, I'm guessing you put in 3+ hours.
The post part is couple hours.
Three plus hours with each episode. So I mean, that's a lot of time spent on.
And most of that is the YouTube piece of it. But it's so it's a lot. So it's a labor of love, and I hope that you guys like it.
It is, because we have not made a dime off of it.
We are manifesting that for 2026.
I thought we were possibly going to be the next Kelseys. I thought Mama Donna was going to be calling us. Speaking of
Mama Donna.
Speaking of, you can try out for traders, but by the way, you have to have a.
You all can't, because I want Kent to try out a passport.
A passport.
I want Sarah to do it also.
You have to have a passport to try out. I don't have a passport, and I don't think I can get one quickly enough to be able to try out for it. But having one, our local traders, last year, I felt like that would put me in a good position. And if I were to submit a video, I would 100% submit the video that you put together that everyone made. Sarah, however, does have a passport, and I see no reason at all she should not do it. But anyhow, I guess maybe their next season or one of the next seasons, they're going to do normal people versus celebrities like they have been doing. But were you
surprised? A spoiler alert! If you've not watched Traders, we're fixing to talk about some of the people kicked off already, and that are the traders. So spoiler alert! Did you peg Donna as the trader, the secret trader? Did you pick her?
I don't think that I did, no. I wasn't really surprised with the way she played the game. But of course, when you look back, you're like, okay, she didn't really talk a whole lot. She didn't really connect with people. But I thought that's just because, she was older and just didn't really.
I think it's exactly what she said. Like, she's probably a little bit more possibly introverted in this situation, but also probably starstruck.
Well, that's what she said.
Because she has kids that are famous, and possibly the most famous daughter-in-law, soon-to-be daughter-in-law in the world. Yeah. Doesn't mean that she's still not starstruck. She's not hanging around these people all the time.
She even told them multiple times, too. And, of course, too, when you get on that show, especially with the celebrities, but I think normal people do it, too, is there's a lot of teaming up that happens.
Yeah. And who's she going to team up with?
Yeah, because you got the gamers on there. They're automatically a group. You got the housewives on there. They're automatically a group. And then to your point, like, who it's. But we all know she was on there to grab attention, grab eyes. I don't know that anyone, Alan, ever thought that she was going to win, which is probably why they made her the secret.
Anyway, I'm enjoying it. I think we might have an episode to watch.
We probably do. So anyhow, congratulations to you on 50 episodes.
Yes, congratulations to me.
Savannah felt like this was noteworthy, so I wanted to share that with everyone because I think leading up to 50, I kept saying this is number 50, and it wasn't. We were like 45 and then 46. And then we eventually got to 50, and I don't think that I said anything about it being 50. So anyhow, if you are new to this podcast, we highly suggest or highly recommend that you go back and listen from the start.
And start from the beginning because there's some gold in there. Like,
I want to go back and listen to them.
I think we should. Like, I mean, you really are going to, I feel like, get to know us.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah, you'll get to know us.
And there are some ridiculous, arguments in there.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I know you keep wanting to get to this, but I want to ask you.
Okay.
Is there...
See, you remember I said there would be control thing? If she loses control, she will not. What is she doing? She's trying to regain control of the podcast.
Go ahead.
I'm really just moving it so it doesn't, go anywhere. So go ahead.
So why do you think that it bothers you so much that we have to run the dishwasher every single day? Because I feel like no less than 3 times a week, you talk about the fact if we freaking run this dishwasher every single day. And I'm like, what does it matter? That's what it's there for.
Well, first of all, I feel like I used to say it a lot more than I do today. What I mentioned, the reason why she's bringing this up is because for whatever reason, I don't even know where our plates went, but I feel like we have 6 plates now. And I just dropped one of them the other day and it shattered everywhere. But But so I think we're down to like maybe 5 plates now.
No, I'll tell you where our plates went.
Where?
Well, when we got these, we decided to get. There's 8, by the way, and you.
There's no way there's 8.
Absolutely.
There's no way there's an 8 count right now.
Go count them.
I will. As soon as this episode's, I guarantee it's no more than 6. But go ahead. And I dropped one.
Okay, but we were like, we're gonna start using plates. We're not using paper plates anymore. Of course not.
Yeah.
And so we are using them at lunch and at dinner.
That part's true.
So I don't know. When you say I don't know where our plates went, that's where the plates went.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, whether or not you're using them at lunch, at dinner, 6 plates is 6 plates. But the point being is there are plenty of times where, the cup rack, for example, will be like not even half full. And the bottom rack maybe not even, but it's just because we need the plates, we're running the dishwasher. And it's like if we had more plates.
So I think what you fail to understand is if we have more plates, so what you're saying is you're not going to run the dishwasher that night because it's not very full. But what you fail to realize is how full the dishwasher will then get between there and when dinner is happening the next day. Yeah. And if I make dinner that's like involved, or God forbid you cook dinner, because you use a lot of bowls and a lot of utensils and a lot of everything.
That's because I cook some very intense dinners, but go ahead.
So then we get to a point where, guess what? There's not enough room to put everything in the dishwasher. And who has to hand wash those things at that point?
You do.
Me.
But we hand wash our pots and pans anyways. But I understand what you're saying. In either case, it doesn't really matter. What can I get to my list now?
I guess, my God.
No, I'm trying to Savannah gave me an idea.
Okay,
she was our hype man, so I want to follow through with
do what Savannah says. Sure.
I want to follow through with what Savannah said. So communication again, just talk through. Don't overthink it. Just whatever. So first one under communication is this argument, the argument that isn't about what we're arguing about.
What?
I'm going to say it again.
I have to fill in the blank?
No, you're not filling the blank. Just tell me what comes to your mind. What do you think is talking about? Is it true? Is it not true? Have we talked about it? That kind of thing. The argument that isn't about what we're arguing about.
Is that saying that what we're arguing about is not always what we're arguing about?
Literally, bitch, all you did was repeat the thing. Like, I want you to tell me what you think about it, not just repeat the statement.
Okay, so I think it's true. I think it's valid. Okay. I think a lot of times what we're arguing about sometimes does not come down to what the actual argument is.
Okay.
A lot of times it has to do with something completely different.
Okay.
Like last week's episode of my inner child stuff.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say about the kitchen gate.
Sure,
it's kind of about kitchen gate too, right?
Yeah.
So you agree that with that statement is what I'm hearing you say?
I agree that happens. I'm not saying that happens all the time.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just about the freaking dishwasher. Like, just run the damn dishwasher.
Okay. So we're going to jump down to emotional and mental load. Emotional check-ins. How are you really doing?
I think I'm really doing pretty good. Are you gonna chime in and say you think I'm not?
Well, no, I don't think.
Do you want me to expand
I don't think I'm really asking you how are you really doing. I'm really saying like what about this? Sure. Let me back this up a little bit,
please, because you're giving me statements, and I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do with these statements.
That's the point. So if you were to say to me, emotional check-ins, how are you really doing? I would say, I think emotional check-ins are important. And here's why they're important.
Okay, so maybe you should answer these questions.
I can, but I wanted to have you participate.
It wasn't clear what you were asking me to do.
Do you understand now?
I think.
Okay. Do I need to explain it again?
Let's try one more and see.
Well, let's try this one. Emotional check-ins. How are you really doing? Okay.
I think they are important. And I'm going to go ahead and actually I'm going to say this right now. And I don't know that.
Yeah. Get ready.
Yeah. I feel as though you have been on edge.
Okay.
You've been really, what's the word I typically use?
Activated?
Yeah. You've been just very short-tempered.
Irritable? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So what is going on?
What do you think it could possibly be?
I probably has something to do with sex if I had to guess.
Okay.
Like I don't
Why
know.
would it have something to do with sex?
I don't know. It's ridiculous.
It is.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me give you an example. For tonight, tonight, we're walking the dogs.
Okay.
And I'm looking on my phone or whatever, and I'm asking Frankie, like, help me with a new intro, blah, blah, blah. And you hear it. You're huffing, you're puffing. You have an attitude, and your response to me is so
short,
terse. Like, it's just.
Ooh, this is a birdie word.
Yeah, it's not nice, and it makes me feel like middle finger to you.
Hey, Siri,
and so I asked you,
what is the definition of the word terse?
Is it terse?
Service forming part of divine office, sparring in use of words.
Maybe I meant tense. I don't know. Anyway, and so I'm like, what is your problem? Like, what is going on? Why are you responding to me like that? And you're like, I already sent you those outros. I'm like, no, you didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you asked me to do something, and I did it. Although, once you explained it, I realized. So, she asked me today, she said, Kent, can you go talk to Savannah and come up with some talking points for the podcast? And I said, sure. So, I look up talking points. While I'm at it, the last episode or two, she's mentioned, I wish that we need to redo our intro or whatever. So, I went and said, look, Savannah, let's all talk about intros and outros. I get multiple options, yada, yada, yada. I sent them to Annie on DM. I thought I sent them to Annie on DM. I sent her some other stuff that was related to the podcast. But I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you're sitting there looking at them, right? And she's like, they didn't come through to me. I was like, what do you mean they didn't come through? Because to my defense, she acts like she reads everything. And a lot of times it's right there in front of her, but that's neither here nor there. So I go back and I look and I'm like, you're right. They weren't there. Okay, that's on me. I apologize.
And your attitude was completely because
don't ask me to do something. Right, don't ask me to do it.
And I didn't ask you to look at. Okay, but I didn't.
But that's a pet peeve of mine. That's a pet peeve of a lot of people.
Okay, well, I didn't ask you to do intros and outros.
I didn't. Okay.
So don't be pissed off at me because you took upon yourself to do something I didn't ask you to do.
But you could have also said, you know what, I appreciate you doing that. Yeah, but anyways. Yeah, I don't know. There's a certain period of time that I can go without sexual activities, and I'm cool with it.
1 week.
Week and a half.
It's not been a week and a half.
But after about a week and a half, I start to get a little irritated. And that's probably what this is. So anyhow, emotional check-ins, how are you really doing? So do you think emotional check-ins are important? But then how do you really what I'm asking is, like, how do you get at more than just, hey, are you good? What do you need from me? What should an emotional check-in look like to you? That's a sincere, I really want to check in here.
Personally, I feel like you can feel it. I don't feel like is everything good? What do you need from me? I think it's literally like me saying, like, what is the deal? What is your problem? You have clearly a problem there. You are giving off a shitty vibe. What is going on? So maybe
I feel this is a personal attack. I'm just asking in general.
No, I know, and I'm giving you my feeling right now because that's how I've been feeling. Okay. And
so apparently, I need to ask her, how are you really doing?
Activated me.
Shocker. Go ahead.
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
But you feel like that if it's you know it through the energy, through the size.
And when you act like that, it does not make me want at any point in time to be physical with you. Okay. So but you continue to do it. It's like a spoiled little child.
And I feel like you continue to not do it, which causes me to act like a spoiled child.
Okay, well, maybe you should try something different.
Maybe you should try something different.
I'm not going to. I'm not giving in to that behavior. I'm not doing it. We've had this conversation like umpteen times. Go back and listen.
Okay, you done got me off my...
So anyway, I feel as though emotional check-ins,
okay,
I think they're probably important. And I think that there's a good chance that whoever's asking about the emotional check-in probably already really knows.
Okay. Do you feel like that do you feel like in a lot of situations they may check in because they want it reciprocated? Like, in other words, if I'm coming to you, that's really my way of saying, I also want you to check in on me. Do you think that that's normal, or is that just
I think that just needs to be stated. I don't think you should make any kind of assumptions. I don't think you should do it for one person, assuming that they are going to turn around and then do it for you. I think if you want that done for you just need to say it.
Okay.
So is that what you're saying?
No, it's not right or wrong. I mean, it really is just open for discussion. And so we're going to move on to the next topic, which is everyday life stuff that turns into arguments. Coincidentally enough, the first item is why small things such as dishes, laundry, time cause big reactions. Tell me your thoughts on this. Hold on. I got to. I know I sent it to you. I don't know if I sent it to you on IG, TikTok, or what, but I need to go back and find it. You've got to do this, where it's like this girl's riding in a car or something, and she says something along the lines of, I don't know why the hell my husband keeps using directional stuff like north and east. Right. And she was like, all right, Christopher Columbus, I just need to know, is it near Target or is it near Starbucks? Like they when I use north and south of you, it just goes right past you.
I don't know why.
How do you know that?
There's not
I'm like Perry's that way, Macon's that way. That's north, that's south.
I don't think like that.
At Geico, when we rode in for 20 years east,
just
and everywhere else is
tell
west.
me the direction I'm heading. What is
this
it near?
This way, that way. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, so when I saw that, I immediately thought about you. I think that would be a funny one for you to do. But why do you think small things such as dishes, laundry, time, and cause big reactions?
Because it's about something else. It's either built up over time and you've not said what you really need to say, or there possibly are other things going on that are more important, and then that's really not something you need to be thinking about right this second. Or you've had this conversation before and here I am having it again.
I would think that's probably, in my mind, maybe the bigger thing. It's kind of like the time thing. Like when I get frustrated about being late places, although over the years you've gotten much
I loved that I pulled up to the place today on time and you left pissy because I was making the bed. You're like, you don't need to do that now. You're going to be late. I'm like, I'm not going to be late, Kent.
Depends on how you define late. Well, you got there 2 minutes before.
Okay, so let me tell you what I define late. If you tell me to be there at 12 and I'm there at 12:05, that's late.
Okay.
I get there at 12 or any amount of time prior to 12, I am not late. This pisses me off. Actually, I was thinking about this on the way over.
This is the activation, y'all.
I was thinking about this on the way over. I'm like, that pisses me off. These people are like, if you are 15 minutes early, then you're late. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that. If you want me there at a particular time, then fucking tell me that time. Don't tell me be there at 12 when you really expect me to be there at 11:45. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
And I rebuke it.
We have a running joke about our friends because that's basically an unwritten rule. If they say we're going to meet for dinner at 6, we know that means 5:30. We never have been to dinner early with them.
No, never.
Which is, we miss out on a drink.
Because if you tell me 6, I'm going to get there at 6.
Or 6:05 or 6:15.
Anyway, I love the fact today that I whipped it into that parking lot.
Good job.
Thank you.
But here's this is where my frustration. Now that we're talking about this.
Okay, good.
My frustration is less about the being late and more about there's something about when we have to be somewhere on time. There's one of two things happen. Either you fucking go into slow motion and it's almost intentional.
It's not intentional.
Or you do everything other than what you should be doing. So for example, fucking making the bed.
Like when were we late last time somewhere?
There have been listen, our friends can back me on this one. They can 100% back me on this one. There have been enough times for me to
tell me recently.
For me to make this an argument. But my point being is like, case in point, the bed. Yes, the bed has not been made up this morning. And all of a sudden at 11:28, when we got to be across town for lunch at 12, all of a sudden now making the bed is important. So it's not the being on time or not. It's the why is that important now when you got somewhere to be?
Because
that's the part that frustrates me.
It's not important now. It was always important, and I was always going to do it. And if it frustrates you that much, I'm going to do something like make the bed. I'm making the bed. I've made the bed for the last 3 years. I make the fucking bed. So if I'm going to make it and you're already ready and you're just waiting around on me to get ready, then why wouldn't you jump in and just go ahead and make the bed? So it's one less thing that I'm going to do before I walk out the door. Exactly.
Because if I jump in and make the bed, then you're going to decide that you want to clean your fucking closet.
Really?
Then you're going to decide your shoes need to be adjusted.
Now. Really?
Okay. I will 100% get back up on this one.
Please do.
But I do feel like you have gotten much, much, much better about it, and I appreciate that. So, marriage after years together. All right. So this question statement. I don't know.
They're not questions.
Don't get too
statements.
fucking uncomfortable with it. How we argue now versus when we first got married.
It's much to use. Who's the
prophet?
No, what's the name of the Miami coach? What's his name?
Mike. Is it Mike McDonald? Mike.
Whatever.
Yeah.
To quote him and what their defense is it's violent. It is now violent. I feel like
you're talking about the Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the Dolphins.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is much more.
You think it's more violent now?
It's much more vocal now.
Well, just a second ago you used the word violent. Now you're using the word vocal.
Okay,
Which is it?
First of all, it's not violent, like I'm being silly, but it's very vocal. I don't hold back, I don't feel like anymore. I think when we first got together, I very much just bit my tongue. I kept it to myself. I closed down. There were no shouting arguments, I feel like, back then.
Okay, you're talking when we, I guess, first get married 18 years ago.
Yeah, what are you talking
about?
Well,
I mean, I guess I did. I just meant early on.
That's what the fucking question
I know,
said.
but I guess I meant early on in the relationship, not...
Well, that's early on in the relationship.
And I think that was probably...
What are you talking about?
Probably pre-marriage. I think that was probably... I'm trying to win him over girlfriend shit.
No, because we had kids. We had kids in the house, and I was not going to be screaming and yelling in front of the kids when they were little. Now, when we moved into this house, I think I was like, I don't care about this anymore.
Honestly, I feel like this is what I feel. I feel like it's done this right here. And I feel like it's kind of come back around because I feel like there was a period of time where you would just bottle everything in and it was miserable because it literally an argument would be 5 days.
Yeah, okay.
And then it got to where you were unleashing shit. Like you were like yelling and screaming demonic shit. But I feel like it's come back around to now we're not yelling and screaming, but I feel like it's a much more productive conversation.
So it's not really come back around. You're saying it's gotten better.
I guess it's gotten better, but I guess what I mean by that is I feel like we've left the yelling, screaming, demonic part. I don't feel like that happens very often. And if we do, it's like we're yelling across at each other. That almost, to me at least, almost kind of turns into a joke at that point because Lauren will be like, "What just happened?" And then I feel like we just start almost like yelling on purpose at that point.
We have done that sometimes, yes. No, I don't think you don't scream back at me. I think most part I will scream still,
right? Because I
have to sometimes I have to get it out of my body, and I can't sometimes get it out of my body in a normal person voice. I have to scream. It has to leave my body violently to get it out and to truly get it out of my body and my energy. I have to it's like pushing it way out past me sometimes. I can't just sit there and be like, but Kent, this is what I need to tell you because
this is not an exorcism, I promise you.
Because I feel like when I do it in that voice sometimes, like you're just like, yeah, but if I just work it a little bit more, she'll just like go with it. And I'm like, sometimes you push me to the point where I have to scream. So anyway.
That's interesting.
What's interesting?
I don't feel like that you do the screaming part, but I do agree that there are times you've got to get it out. And maybe it's because it just doesn't turn into like anything really big. You know what I mean? Like just, I guess what I'm saying is I have become adaptive to the screaming. Like I feel like I can say, okay, that's a fucking real scream, or that's she just got to get it out and scream. You know what I mean? Because I feel like there's two different things.
Yeah,
and I feel like most of the time,
it's just I got to get it out.
I just got to get it out. I'm like, okay. And I'll probably laugh at it. I'll probably chuckle. Because one of my weaknesses, and we know this, is, and this is why I probably would suck at traders in real life, is I have a smirk.
The smirk.
And if it's a funny thing, if it's a serious thing, if it's anything in between, especially if it's a serious thing, I have this little smirk, and it will just drive her crazy. So the last topic she gave me, I know I said 4, but this is actually 5. This is podcast specific. It's funny you brought up the episodes because it says reflective episodes. And then after, I want to pull 2 from here. And then after that, you can regain control of the podcast.
You've spent all our time.
So what has this podcast taught us about each other? And we'll both answer that.
Oh, what it's taught us, like
about each other.
What I've learned about you.
That's literally the definition of about each other.
I don't know if like what it's taught
okay.
me
I get that. You're right. I guess it could.
And about you.
You're right. I guess it could be.
Jackass.
So how about answer it however you see most fit? That's actually a good point. Well, so answer it both ways, actually. What has it taught you? I think you'll be easier. What has it taught you about yourself?
I think what it's taught me about myself is that I can have hard conversations. Because I'm definitely not one that likes confrontation, which is crazy to say considering the things that I just said about I have to scream it and get it out of my body sometimes. So I can have hard conversations, and you know, I think it's taught me more on how to be okay with being wrong, and like kind of maybe taking some accountability maybe in like my portion of like maybe the situation possibly. I don't know if it's taught. I mean, it's just taught me. It's taught me more how to communicate with you. I feel like.
Yeah.
I think it. I mean, we've been together 18 years. I feel like we knew each other pretty well. But I think sometimes it has taught me how you think about things, so that I can catch myself. I can catch us. Maybe it's taught me how to recognize our pattern, I think, and sometimes catch it and go, okay, whoa, hold up. Here's like, we're going into the same pattern. Why are we going to the same pattern? Like, and because sometimes you could get ramped up also. And it's allowed me to figure out sometimes how to bring that back down. I
think it's much easier to bring me back down, because it kind of boils down to one thing.
Right. It's fucking annoying.
I mean, it should be pretty simple, but anyhow. No, so I agree with everything you said, and I think I probably echo it. I didn't intend for this to really be like an episode 50, but I feel like that's really kind of what, I mean, this is a good reflection time. It's kind of like at the end of the year when you're like, okay, 2025 in review. That's really kind of what I feel like here. But I feel like for me, the podcast has taught me, it's taught me what I didn't do right as a parent, and as a step parent, and what I could have done differently. Somebody had made a post today on Facebook, and it said something about being a grandparent and how special it is or whatever. I can't remember exactly what they said, but basically I said my take on it is grandparents are parents the way they wish that they could have been with their kids. In other words, a lot of times grandparents have more time, they have more resources, they have not the same level of stresses that they had when they were 25 years old trying to manage 2 kids and a job and all that stuff. And then they learn from their mistakes. Yeah. And I feel like that this podcast has allowed me to do that, which in turn I think has allowed you to. We're kind of saying the same thing there.
Yeah, that's a much better answer than mine.
And then about you, I feel like it has really taught me just how good of a communicator you are.
I was just sitting here thinking I'm so horrible off the cuff. Like you're so great off the cuff, and I'm like, I gotta think about this.
Okay, so when I say a communicator, I don't necessarily mean like thinking of stuff immediately. What I mean by that is like, and I wish we say this all the time. I wish we could just record some of these off mic conversations, because the way we talk now and really get to the root of the problem is just night and day from, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or whatever. And I think a lot of it is, your self-discovery and all the growth and everything that you're having going on with the other stuff. But I think a lot of it is just our ability to get on here once a week and talk through these things.
We've really hashed out some shit in front of the 100 listeners we have.
Thank you, 100 listeners. Listen, it might be 110 by now.
No, you know what? It's also taught me is we're very brave, because not a lot of people are willing to get out there and talk about these. For one, they don't talk about these things with their spouses, and for two,
are you
they're
reading
not
my notes over here? Is there a mirror behind me?
They're not going to just put it out there and broadcast it to everyone. So I feel like we're pretty damn brave.
Yeah, I do as well. And the last topic I was going to talk about is what Lincoln's ringing on the doorbell. So we'll maybe wrap it here.
Yeah, it's a good time to wrap it anyway.
So let's hit this last topic. What we would tell couples afraid to have hard conversations. If you're sitting in here with a couple right now and you know that they struggle a little bit with communication, what would you tell them? What would your advice to them be?
My advice is, one, you got to have the conversation. But that's not really telling you much. So I think you have to make sure that you do it from an emotionally neutral place. You have to maybe you're one that needs to give yourself time to move through those emotions, because I know I'm very much like that. And you don't want to have that conversation in that time frame. And I would say, too, for your beginning conversations, you want to be very intentional about saying, this is how it made me feel, or give facts of this is what you did and this is how it made me feel. And don't say, no name calling. No, even though I know that, we on here, like I say, you're an asshole or something like that.
That's a term of endearment.
Sure.
But during an argument, we're very, very good at
try to be really intentional about saying, watching what you say, and don't say things that are going to be purposely hurtful. Don't use words that you're just trying to get a response, and don't say things that you can't take back, because I think that can really, really damage. But other than that, like, start small. If you're
literally reading my mind, bro. The two things I was going to say, you've nailed both of them now. Is one of them is I was going to say,
maybe I'm better off the cuff than I thought.
Exactly. It's kind of turning me on, actually.
Oh, shocker.
Your hair looks good too. What I was going to say is be proactive with these conversations, which
We're coming, Lincoln.
Which I think is essentially kind of what you're saying is make sure you're in a good space. Make sure you're not coming from a place of anger at the moment. And all stuff. So I think that's a big part of it. And then I was going to say, start small.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people try to go from 0 to 100, and 100 is this angry argument. Well, if you've not learned how to have all these other conversations in between, that's why you go from 0 to 100.
You got to build that trust muscle. They call it the trust muscle. So you got to build up that trust between the two of you, that you are both going to be on the respectful. You're not going to be making jabs and trying to hurt the other one, because maybe that's how you've argued in the past. And so I think you build that trust muscle so that you can build up to those bigger conversations. And then, honestly, I don't really think that it hurts to have some of these conversations with other people. Because they can really bring perspective, and you really feel very strongly about your side, but then somebody neutral hears it and they'll be like, well, let me give you a different perspective on that that's not coming from your spouse. Sometimes that's easier to hear.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No,
anyway, but I love you guys so much. I've enjoyed this 50th not 50th episode to look back, but he's ringing the doorbell like crazy. We got to go.
All right,
love you guys.
Go.
Bye.
Deuces.
Before we wrap up, we just want to say thank you so much for spending this time with us. Truly, it means a lot that you're here and listening. If today's episode made you laugh, nod along, or feel a little less alone, we'd love it if you take a minute to leave a review. It really helps more people find the show and keep these conversations going. And if you know someone you regularly debate life with, go ahead and share this episode with them. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.